This is the plaintiff, Teresa Colon. She says she rented an apartment from the defendant, her landlord, and he was nothing but a big complainer. He told her he heard her when she walked up and down the steps. He said he could hear her and her boyfriend when he came over to spend the night, and needless to say, she wasn't happy there. She told the defendant she was going to move out. He promised to return her security, but hasn't. So here they are. She's got no choice but to sue for the $1,350 she's owed. And that's just what she's doing today. This is the defendant, Alami Banani. He says the plaintiff seemed like the perfect tenant. Boy, was he wrong. The woman's boyfriend would come over every day at midnight, and that's when they'd have sex for everyone to hear. The plaintiff owes him for rent. He's keeping the security, and if anyone's owed money, it's him. He's accused of hearing things in the night. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,225 for past due rent.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff rented an apartment from the defendant and then started belly aching. Too much noise. I hear your boyfriend, yada, yada. But the defendant says the booty calls were ear-shattering. It's the case of, you're such a moaner.
Thank you, Douglas. All right, Teresa Colon.
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing Driss Alami.
Yes.
For $1,350, the amount of a security deposit that you say he is unlawfully keeping. You are counterclaiming against her $1,225, the amount of rent you say she owes you. Ms. Colon, why don't you start? Tell me what's going on.
I don't believe he's Dress. Dress was the landlord that lived downstairs. I was told Dress was the gentleman that lived downstairs. I was told he was Alami.
What's your name?
Lami Binani,
Who's Driss?
my brother.
Why isn't your brother here?
Your Honor, I'm the person who managed the house. My brother almost
Are you the one who did all the talking
Yes,
with her?
yes, I'm the guy who worked everything
But
from
why
A to
isn't
Z.
your brother here as well?
Well, he works and he cannot. I mean, one of us has to leave the work in Manhattan. We cannot come both. Impossible.
So go ahead. All right, go ahead.
I was in Florida, relocating to New York. I'm looking for an apartment to move there. I met with Alami on July 21st. I gave him $675 for half of August because I was planning on moving in August 15th. I gave him $1,350 for the rent for the month of September. I gave him a $1,350 security deposit and $1,350 to the real estate agent, Judy. At the time, we were supposed to have a lease agreement, which the real estate agent never presented. She was supposed to have that by the time I move in, which she didn't. That's why the lease was never signed.
So what happens? You move in and now you're a month to month when you wanted a year lease?
I wasn't known that I was month to month until Alami sent me an email stating, being that you refused to sign the lease, you're going on a month-to-month basis.
Okay, so according to you, she refused to sign a lease?
I was never presented
No,
one.
it's completely wrong. Teresa came the first time. She saw the place. She likes it. We insisted on meeting again. Teresa, the day when she gave me the money, she came with her mom, her brother, and everything went well. So I take the money from her for tenancy to be starting from August the 15th. I saw her living with my broker in my broker's car, going to the agency to sign the lease. That's exactly how it was.
Did your broker prepare a lease, yes or no?
To my knowledge,
What's to my knowledge? Answer my question. It's very straightforward. Answer me.
the lease was never signed, never came to me.
No, was the lease made?
No, I don't.
Okay, then don't lie to me and say to my knowledge it was.
right,
And so
no,
I was like, you asked Judy, did you prepare a lease? And Judy said what? I dropped the ball. What happened?
Heard the
When
lease
did you
was-
learn the lease wasn't signed?
When one day she said to me, I told her with her boyfriend that she wanted him to move in with her. So I told her, according to your lease, you are only with your son. You cannot have a third person.
And then?
she said to me, well, I never signed any lease.
So that's when you learned that your
That's
broker
when I
of
learned that
20
there's no
years
lease
who's
there.
so great dropped the ball like
That's
this?
exactly.
That's
Then-
pretty bad. I'd break up with my broker.
What happened is because Judy,
All right, so in any event, you're on a month to month. Now go. What goes wrong?
What had happened was I was getting complaints from downstairs that I was going up and down the stairs. And the stairs were old. It wasn't their fault. They just squeaked when we went up and down. My boyfriend at the time would get off work 3 o'clock in the morning. He would come spend a couple of hours with me. We didn't have wild sex. I have my son in my next room.
Oh my goodness, why are you even talking about this with your
Because
son
he
in
had mentioned sex.
So there were complaints about the noise in the night, and go on.
Correct. I get these complaints.
Are
and
they
then
coming from his brother or from him?
from him? I guess he had communication with Dress and Dress's wife. I said to Alami, I don't think I'm going to stay here. I'm letting you know a month or two ahead of time that I'm going to be looking for an apartment. I gave him notice October 20th.
That you were leaving when? November 1st?
For November 1st, yes.
Okay.
He told me that he was going to give me my deposit a week after I depart. At the time, there was Hurricane Sandy.
Okay, you give notice October 20th. Hurricane Sandy was October 29th.
Yes.
Okay.
I had the move scheduled for October 29th. They had it rescheduled for November 1st.
Okay, so you moved out on November 1st?
Everything was taken out November 1st with the exception of my sofa because the movers couldn't get out. They couldn't get the angle out the right way.
So when did you get the sofa out?
The first week of November, which Alami verbally gave me permission that it was okay. Being that it was Hurricane Sandy, we don't plan on renting the apartment right away.
Okay. So why are you keeping the security deposit? Purely because of the notice issue?
It is when the issue was with her, in her planning, that she would like to have her boyfriend moving in, and as we refused, and we knew about what's going on, it looks like she virtually first went to the broker asking to relocate elsewhere. And I have a letter from the broker.
Let me see the letter from the broker. Within days of Teresa taking occupancy, Teresa called me. Now she wanted to see more apartments because a male visitor starts coming in. She wanted to move the male visitor in, but Alami refused. The Alami family called me saying that she's showering them up with threats. She would burn the house down because she is Italian. I don't understand what that means. You're going to be cooking a lasagna? And you're well connected to the mafia. Did you say that?
Gotti. No, absolutely not.
Mr. Alami immediately went and filed a police report. Do you have the police report?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me see it.
Okay, so if you have a neighbor and there's loud sex a lot, is that a valid complaint you can make to the landlord?
It's valid if it's every single day. You know, sometimes you just can't help loud sex.
What do you think?
Well, it depends on what time of day it is. Because, you know, after hours, you know.
Well, after hours are usually when people end up in the bedroom, right?
Yeah.
Is it a valid complaint?
It can be.
It depends on who's getting something. Going inside the courtroom.
This isn't a police report. This is a piece of paper that tells you how to get a police report. Okay. So the reason that you're keeping her security deposit is what?
Your Honor, because we went from one year term into month to month. In fact, I have an email for her on the 25th of September. She said, hello, I will be staying the month of October per our phone conversation.
What are you looking at?
Those, Your Honor, are set of emails, correspondence that I had with
let
her.
me see the emails.
I have emails also. Too.
Yeah, let me see all the emails. Here's an email from you to her. I understand you are planning to vacate by this month end. All right, so now, on October 20th is when she notifies you that she's leaving November 1st.
Yes, that's correct.
And then, as it turns out, she's got everything out November 1st except for the couch.
Yeah, until the 7th of
And then
November.
the couch was in there till when?
November the 7th.
November 7th? Does that make sense?
Yes, it was the first week in
and
November.
That apartment was, after Hurricane Sandy, what was the damage from Sandy to that apartment?
Luckily, we did not have any
Okay,
damage.
did you have electricity?
Yes.
No, there was no electricity.
No, the electricity, Your Honor, yes, correct.
How about heat and hot water?
No, everything. But she was by then out. I mean, she did not...
No, I understand.
Yeah,
but
we
see,
did.
I'm trying to figure out, here's a little quandary we have. If you want to keep money for rent for November, then you have to have been ready, willing, and able to have provided housing in November. You only have to pay rent for a place that's habitable. And if you're telling me that because of the hurricane, there was no heat, hot water, or electricity, you were not ready, willing, and able to provide rent for the month of November. Now, you also have a counterclaim against her beyond that for $1,225. Explain this to me.
I told her that the rent is $1,800 because I am not here willing to entertain a person who's come for a month and then bring other people. I'm not a hotel. Right now, we changed the rules. Then we're going month to month, $1,800 a month.
You can do that. But you have to give her 30 days notice. Just like what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
I agree, Your Honor.
So you would have to give her 30 days notice, number one, which didn't happen in this case. And number two, you can't say, oh, and by the way, I hereby proclaim that for the last 2 months, it's going to be that way too, and you owe me money. You can't just do that.
All right, Your Honor. Well,
All right. Okay, here's what's going to happen. Because of what I have explained, that the apartment was not habitable during that time, you cannot charge rent for that time. I'm ordering you to return the $1,350 in security deposit to her. And on your counterclaim against her, where you are asking me to impose a contract that you did not have, my answer to that is no. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So the money goes back over to the plaintiff side of the board, and you'll be paying. So step on in here. What's your reaction to this verdict?
Oh, well, I was disappointed a little bit because some facts were not really clearly, but I believe that the error was that we didn't sign a lease, and I think that's a part, yes.
Right. You mad at your broker for not having a lease?
Yeah, I think that I would have to replace the broker.
Oh, too bad. All right, head right down this way. All right, thank you. So come on in here. What about everything that got said about you in there?
Very happy with the decision. Love People's Court. I'm sorry that I had to come this way to take it to court. But I'm
Could you
happy.
have been a little more courteous to the neighbors or the other people living
I
there?
was absolutely nice to them.
Right? It was the stairs' fault that they were creaky, right?
It was the stairs' fault.
And was it noisy?
It was very noisy. It needed to be repaired.
Just the
Absolutely.
stairs?
Several other things, but we won't go into that.
Okay. Harvey?
Okay, just FYI, a warranty of habitability, that's the technical term. It's implied in every contract, which means that an apartment has to be free of health and safety defects. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.